Just an idea until breaking ground in November of 2016, and now here it is in all its glory. Spectacular SoFi Stadium here in metropolitan Los Angeles. Today, we're set for a good AFC matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. Upended at the 33 following a good pickup of 8. We should mention, to go along with a great game he had last week, he was rightfully named AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And he shares that with his offensive line, the tight end, his fullback. He's looking for more and more of that in this game. They'll run for the first time with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And so on the ball now. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. Even from up here in the booth, the play-by-play guy could tell that there was some pretty good blocking on the right side of the line. Well, you have good eyes, and it's almost like a ballet when it's executed that well. Everyone in the right spot, everyone in sync, everyone hitting the perfect notes. A little more percussion and a lot more bass, I would think, than you get to normal ballet. But at the same time, that was well executed. He's got the first down here inside the 30. And he'll finally be taken down at the 18. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive. I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right? They didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. And now here's a carry heading left. And he'll be stopped after a gain of only a couple down to the 15-yard line. Watching that play unfold and watching him complete it brought back memories of doing all those pursuit drills to make sure you don't over-pursue and let a guy get a cutback lane on you. He did that very well. You praised him on tape yesterday for the angles that he takes to the ball. Took a great angle right there. So now at 3rd and 7, defensively, it's a dime knock, 6 DBs. Here's Mahomes to throw. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. And a great effort there to shed the contact, and it helps him pick up the first. He's a reigning AFC Offensive Player of the Week, and defensively they have to find an answer for him. And that's what you would do if you were calling plays, right? You'd make sure he gets targeted, but the thing about it is the route running. That's what makes him so dangerous, is because no matter what is presented defensively, he runs his route with such skill that he's able to go up and get the football first in each and every situation. He'll try again, and he will take it on in for a Chiefs touchdown. A great effort there. His 17th touchdown now on the season. And the Chiefs take it right down and score on the opening drive. Rosas good with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game.
Chiefs 7, Chargers 0.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. Herbert going to lead up the Chargers here, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll run for the first time with Austin Eckler. And he's upended at the 33, following a good pickup of 8.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up the score.
8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. Off the play fake to Eckler, it's Herbert. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. We'll see what kind of mindset they have here offensively after giving up the touchdown on the opening drive.
And based on our time with them, prior to this game, I feel like they've got a good mindset going in. In fact, the discussion that we had with the coaching staff was, we may give up some points in this game, so offense has to be ready each and every time to either equal or try and get us ahead and try and keep us ahead. This is their chance to respond to that first touchdown given up.
Running on first down, Eckler. Down room for Eckler. And he's got room. And he's in for a Charger touchdown. See, there are touchdown runs, and then there are touchdown runs. And that one certainly fell into the latter category. But that deserves a couple exclamation points.
I think defensively, when you look at a play like that, that's when everyone looks at their teammates and starts shaking their heads a little bit, because now you're wondering, what are we in for? What, the whole week to keep the limit, the big playability that he possesses, and he winds up taking one to the house in the very first quarter. That was a tremendous run.
And he covered a lot of ground on that one, as evidenced by the final total there on Next Gen Stats. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And it's a unit last drive that did it all on the ground, Charles.
And they controlled it from the interior, big on big, right? Offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. But in order to keep the football moving downfield, other people have to get involved as well. Your wide receivers, your tight ends, lead runners, anything that you have possible to get in front and keep the ball moving.
Now the defense may be looking out for a pass coming up. Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33.
Ex-Colin.
Now they try the right side here. And
Don't be
out near the 40 to the 39. 49 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries. Decided to
clean your run,
time on the run pass.
And I don't know how you mess your run back up.
Just gave it inside. Nice steady
You
game.
did look at all that stuff on the floor. Papers, all that stuff.
They'll come up on a 1st and 10. Now here's Mahomes. Throw left side complete. That's Johnson.
I don't want to annoy you, but can I say something?
What?
Because you said it's a fair fight.
About your thing?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it today. I promise. I'll do it today.
But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And that's going to be a Chiefs first down. His good running gets him to about the 44. So it's from Charger territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. And he'll work this forward for about 3. It's 2nd down. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. And now they'll run it here on a tackle. They'll fight forward for a couple down inside the 40. These two teams all tied after 1.
All right, go ahead and talk to her, Eva. Go ahead and talk to her then. I don't know.
An extra defensive back on the field for the Chargers now on 3rd down. Mahomes going to throw. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Another catch for him there in this drive, Brandon. And it looks like
I
this
saw
is
her
utilizing
here.
the back foot any way they can. At that time, they pick up the first down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Now a handoff looking right. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line.
This has been a good drive so far. It's been a running game for the most part that's powered them down there. Another nice burst there, picking up a first down.
I don't know.
Now it's 1st and 10, as you
Seems
said,
like it.
in the red zone.
No, I told you, don't touch that.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he stops after only a yard, taking it down to the 14.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater, he just made a great play there.
Still 9 remaining on 2nd down.
Okay.
Now they try the right side here. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play there, so that's another looking up at a 3rd and 9 situation.
You want to see the red at the top. Let's see. And he has red too. Then he got the red too.
Throwing now is Mahomes. Rolling to his right. Throwing for his running back.
No, he was covered. Hey,
He'll
look.
be tackled right on the 10, well short of the first down. He did his best to just
See, you don't
out of
understand.
that, but not
What's up, I
enough.
catch you?
Now 4th down.
What's up, so? You can't hold it to it. If the other team would have caught it, that would have been a pick.
Rosa's kick is good. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx it.
And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25.
Hey, are you posting when I'm catching?
The Charger drive about to get going. In the midst of, well, let's just say a not-so-rosy losing streak. They've got the open week, though, coming up next weekend, so you have to figure this to be a game that they would dearly love to have.
Oh, indeed.
Oh, hell, so far. Come on,
Something positive to take with you when you go away for a few days, and it actually releases your mind. If they lose this one, that mind stays cluttered the entire time they're away, and they've got to scramble to get back in sync when they start playing again.
Eckler going to get it again on 2nd down. And some room to work. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 68 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first down. A play fake, and now Herbert to throw. Eluding the pressure right. Finds the open man. It's Mike Williams. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
No freaking pressure.
Mobility on quarterbacks all the time. Here's where it really pays off. Able to move, evade, and is accurate throwing on the run and picking up a first down.
Herbert will give this one to Eckler. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down. They'll fake the handoff. Now Herbert.
Right there.
Flushed out right. Going right side.
Damn, boy, y'all boys ain't even getting
He'll
that.
be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 20-yard line.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the two games with the
Herbert operating from the red zone. Throws left side, complete to Keenan Allen. Touchdown, Chargers. Keenan Allen, his first touchdown
I don't know why my guys wasn't where they were supposed to be. Huh?
Extra point right down the middle. And the lead is now 14-10.
Yes, he wasn't. Maybe I hit the wrong button.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
I am white and red, Ava. You don't understand. Just stop. You don't understand. It's okay.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
Fucking, why can't he? Why is he not throwing that thing up? I don't get it.
I know some teams are worried about playing cover 2 because the strong safety.
He don't throw it up.
But in this case, he played it perfectly. Read the football and went and made the interception.
I'm gonna lose this game.
Herbert and the Chargers now with a 1st and 10, right at the 30. Here's Eckler to begin the drive.
Thank you.
Here's 2nd and 9. Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life. No doubt about it. But you're supposed to be in this booth. He's miles away and smiling. And happy. Herbert on 3rd down now. Escaping the pressure right.
Get it. Thank you.
Oh, that's into a double team and it's intercepted. Picked off by Avonte Maddox. And the Chiefs are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. Keep in mind he had the 3 interception game.
Well, he wanted to go right there, but I covered it.
You covered it right there. He's going to cry. Well, he can get it. That was the heavy guy. Maybe hitting him will like it. I don't know.
Throw the ball, but understanding where the receiver is running his route allows him to make a lot of plays on the football, and he's taking it away at a really high rate.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Mahomes.
The defense was in.
The Chargers going to signal for the first of their timeouts. As the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. A couple of extra defensive backs in the ball game here on 3rd and 6. Now Mahomes. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he's got the 1st down yardage before being taken down at midfield.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the 1st half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the 2nd half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
From midfield, here's Mahomes. Finding a safety valve here. That's complete. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him the football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit. But get him out in the open field into some space. That's placed in his
I thought that was going to be a
Yeah, it was supposed to have been wide open in that, but
they can make someone miss in the open field. Good strong throw and catch
yes, Ava.
there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
Can you what? What are you trying to ask?
Now a handoff as they run left side. Just a yard 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. Looking to throw.
Gotta get it up there. Get it up there. There you go.
This one to Johnson. That will go as a pickup of 7 on the 7th play of the drive. The Chiefs quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts as they stop it with 11 seconds remaining in this first half.
We just can't take a sack.
Trying to keep the drive going here. This is play number 7 on 3rd and 2. To throw, it's Mahomes sliding out of the pocket. And that is caught. Touchdown, Kansas City.
You can tell how he tried to play him.
He was in the inside. As long as he threw that thing to the outside, it was good.
Chiefs are once again going to retake the lead. PAT up and good by Rosas. And it's now 17-14.
We could have a prom at our school.
A prom?
6 seconds
Okay.
remains in this first half as the kick is away.
And
Looking up into the roof, and he muffs it. It's loose. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled it to 15. The Charger drive about to get going. And they'll have time for one play. That's it. 3 seconds to go before intermission. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. So we've reached halftime with the visiting Chiefs on top. As we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports halftime report. Coach? Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Chargers going to get the football first here in the second half, and they trail as we get back underway. The Charger drive about to get going. And they do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No. But you that's caught.
What?
Touchdown,
Yo, that should have been a pick, dog. He didn't even know he had that shit. That shit should have been a pick. It is what it is.
Coordinators worry so much about drawing up the right routes, blocking assignments, misdirections and stuff. They have these precise arrows and movements. Sometimes the best play is just go to the schoolyard. You look at your fastest guy and say, go long, go get it, big man.
The Chiefs take over the first and 2 at their own 29-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And they'll be working from behind now following the touchdown a moment ago on the opening drive of the half.
I think the guys right now, as they go out on offense, they're zeroing in on one big key. They don't have to do anything differently just because they're down on the scoreboard now. The intent, still the same in what they plan to do on offense.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Mahomes now to throw. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Joey Bosa in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. Well, they brought the lead into this third quarter, and now they're really stepping up, setting a tone here defensively.
They came right out roaring, because you had to know that in the locker room, they talked about setting that tone that you just described, continuing the dominance that they exhibited in the first half.
After the sack, things get a little tougher here. 3rd and long for Mahomes and the Chiefs. Looking to throw. Toward toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a first down.
And that's how you pick up a first down. Not only does he make the catch, but has enough body control to get his feet down inbounds, toe tapping, and dragging to make sure he gets it done.
Throwing on first down is Mahomes. Flush to his right. On the run, he'll let it go deep. Right sideline. And this is caught inside the 5. And finally out of bounds inside the 5 at the 4. A big play there for KC. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's first and goal. Going to give this time to the tailback. And he will push his way forward down to about the 3-yard line.
That didn't just feel like good defense there. That felt like pride, didn't it? He's already gotten into the end zone twice, trying to get there for a third time. No one likes to have the hat trick against them.
They'll try again. And this time they were really for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a third down.
And now third and goal coming up, the loss on second down. That just means this crowd's going to get even louder. And they'll get a little bit of extra help from the defenders as they exhort them to join them in the effort.
Hard throw, incomplete.
In any event, it happened pretty quickly. I'm not sure he made the right decision on that one. I think if he had it to do over again, he would have found a different target downfield. But he made his decision, and that one's incomplete.
Rosas' kick is good. And that'll bring him back within a point. So the response to that touchdown on the other side to begin the third quarter. Look, just 3 points, but still a response nonetheless.
You're exactly right about that, because I think you needed to answer back with something, even though it's not 6. Just enough to send the message that says, hey, we're not going away.
And he's only going to make it to the...
Similar to Chucky, but not quite. He's a resident of Renalyn Park. He's a bit of a ham and a Broadway song and dance kind of bird. He has quite the personality. His name was actually supposed to be Chucky, but during the design process, there was a little spelling mistake at Imagineering. Instead of 2 B's, there were 2 U's. They decided that leaving his name as Chucky was a better fit, since it suited the look of the character and the whole train theme. You know, choo-choo, choo-bee. It's like it was all meant to be. Number 4. Without listeners, there wouldn't be this new ride. And even though he's already trained, still has many Easter eggs pertaining to Mickey's history. Starting at the beginning, one of the most noticeable details is the year 1928, found in the opening scene of the ride. This represents the year Mickey made his big screen debut in Steamboat Willie in 1928. Now, many people associate Mickey Mouse with Walt Disney, but Mickey was actually drawn by Allied Works, and a tribute to him can be found in the city scene. The Switzerland, JCB, Works Waterworks, to Of Iworks. From the same scene, as you are about to enter into Daisy's dance studio, there's a newspaper stand on the left with a cover that reads Oswald Wins. In 1927, Walt and Of created Oswald Who Loved to Travel, but they didn't have the rights to the characters since he was created for Universal Pictures. Walt needed another character, and then Mickey got the story. Another movie Easter egg is French phrase here on the building, which reads, "It's all the same." When you translate that to English, it means House of Mouse, which used to be a program on the Disney Channel. Number 3. Ultimately, there would be no Mickey without Walt Disney. So you know there has to be Easter eggs related to Walt. The first one can be found in the opening and the finale scene of the sign in the park. You see, one of the places it points to is Yensid Valley. Yensid is Disney spelled backwards, and Yensid Valley was actually the name Walt Disney gave to an area in his backyard. Walt Disney loved trains. You could say he was obsessed. And Yensid Valley was the plateau of land where he had his miniature train set in the backyard. It's a special Easter egg. Then, after you leave the underwater scene and head into the sewer, you'll see the year 1901 on top. And that's the year Walt Disney was born. Also, as you exit the ride, you can find this promotional picture of Walt Disney in one of the Disneyland trains. Number 2. There's a lot of madness in the city scene, and Imagineers hit even more Easter eggs here relating to the Walt Disney Company. The first one you'll spot is on the billboard on top of this building. What's most noticeable is the hidden Mickey, which we'll get to know in the next segment, but on the bottom of the sign, you'll notice it says Ink and Paint. Back in the days of hand-drawn animation, like in the original Mickey Mouse shorts, the Ink and Paint department was responsible for adding color into the animators' drawings. So this pays tribute to these artists. Although the shot is a bit blurry, next here on the sign, it says Retlaw Parking. Retlaw is Walter spelled backwards. Retlaw Enterprises was the corporate.
Good recognition by Russell Westbrook. Nice read by Westbrook. Reading the spin, the lob. Nice flush by Carmelo.
The Bosnian Beast.
Especially if you allow him to get that deep. I don't care who's guarding him. He's going to score.
7 feet, close to 3 spins. Carmelo spinning and scoring on the baseline with a jumper. Working it.
In Glendale, California, and that gave us the flower shop with the address of 1401. Number 1. Now, what's a ride based on Mickey Mouse without painted Mickeys? You can learn all about the history of hidden Mickeys right here in this previous video, but I want to say that there's more hidden Mickeys in this ride than in any other Walt Disney ride. So, here are some of my favorites. As we start in the lobby going up to the pre-show, there's this gorgeous upholstery. Little Mickey isn't right hand designer. In the pre-show room, the large lighting fixture has hidden Mickeys placed all around the perimeter. From paint splatters in the Chimney Sweeps clouds here on the ride, they also put an awful lot of hidden Mickeys. Don't you agree? Then in the city scene, there's that Mickey up on the billboard.
Alright, so I gotta get 150 yards plus.
Or Mickey shirt hanging here on the clothesline. But that's not all. On the way into the factory through the alley, there's this hidden Mickey on the left behind the trash can. Then in the factory, many gears also make Mickey's silhouette. There's a lot of detail here. And finally with the finale, all the fireworks start hitting to make not syncopated Mickey's entrance. And you know the story of this song is? In the studio library before Mickey Mouse, we'll get any of the other hidden details and Easter eggs in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So what are your thoughts on this new Disney ride? Do you think it was worth losing the great movie ride for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Welcome to TPM Bids Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPM Videos.
That neighborhood that neighborhood
Well, the brother that tried to represent himself in a murder case over in court finally had his sentencing the other day. Let's take a look at this. I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do. Mr. O'Neill, listen, stop. Listen to me. You're not going to raise your voice again. I'm not going to raise my voice again. I will have you removed from this courtroom. I can sentence you without you being present. Yes, ma'am. You don't conduct yourself. I understand. Thank you. But I will say, I'm sorry for your loss. 19 years I've been in this job. I've seen human beings build in the hands of others in every way imaginable. You name it, I've seen shootings, stabbings, drownings, suffocations, blown apart by cars, by manslaughter cases. Horrible. This is the worst case I've ever seen as far as the facts go. That's it. And I'm going to mete out the punishment that I think this case deserves. All right. So with that, on count one, Mr. O'Neill, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison with a minimum mandatory of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count two, I will adjudicate you guilty, and adjudicate you guilty on count one as well. Count two, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole, consecutive to count one. On count three, I'm going to sentence you on the attempted murder, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison, running consecutive to counts two and consecutive to count one. On count four, on the arson, first degree dwelling, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years for state prison, running consecutive to count four. On count five, aggravated child abuse, I want to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years in the Florida State Prison, running consecutive to count four. On count six, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty to aggravated child abuse, sentence you to 30 years in prison, running consecutive to count 1 through 5. And on count seven, resisting arrest without violence, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served. That is the time served of 1,224 days. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. Thank you. Yeah, well, that about sums it up, sir. I don't know why you were insane enough to try to represent yourself, probably trying to plead a case of insanity, which failed miserably, as it should have. Now, how do you feel? How do you feel? 3 life sentences plus 60 years, which means, my man, you got to do your time and die. Come back to life, die again. Come back to life, die one more time, then serve 60 years. And that's what your stupid ass deserve. And we need to make notes of this and hold people accountable. When you do these dastardly, disastrous crimes and commit murders on people, this is exactly what needs to happen. I myself probably would have given you the death penalty. The death penalty, that would have been too easy because you'd had a limited amount of time, and then you just out. But it's better for you to just
I already cooked dinner, Kaden, so you can wait.
3 life sentences plus the 60 years that you had. What I find even more funny is that you came back to court and you trying to get laid again. Who you scaring? Who are you scaring? That's why I wish I could be a judge. I'd be the most sarcastic judge. And I just...
I wish I could be a judge. I'd be the most sarcastic judge, and I just wish I could have been able to let out a big belly. How much of a translation did you have to do? Because I imagine there's an incredible amount of translation, especially when you turn your film in. Yeah. And I'm sure there are comments that come from executives like, well, I don't know about this part. Why does this have to be in there?
What?
Nope. You have full control. Yeah,
he had to leave, so I had to pause it. I'm down one.
Gave me all those about changing things. I said, I'm not changing anything. This
Yeah, he
is
said about 30 minutes.
Oh, so as long as y'all both got it told, it's not
But I
going to
didn't know I had
Hopefully
an army
not.
behind me, man. I had all these people watching my show, ready to show up, bootlegging it all over the place. Right. So then this agent Charles King marched me all around. Charles King is another king in the business. Great agent, man. Charles King. Now he's doing his own thing in the background. Absolutely. Trying to get all these different conversations going. I'm like, I'm out of here. Forget this, man. I don't need this headache. Right. So I go to Atlanta and I get a call from Lionsgate, and they say, well, we want to do the movie with you. I'm like, okay, great. Then I don't want any notes. I'm gonna do my way. It's gonna be da-da-da-da. And he was like, okay. And this is Phil Heimer. No. This is Pasternak, Mike Pasternak. Okay, Pasternak. So I had a great conversation with Mike, man, and I'm like, I was shocked that he said okay. Okay. But the movie, they looked at the movie, I shot it, they saw it, they were like, we don't know. I had a conversation with Phil, my first time meeting him, and he's like, I said, how much do you want the movie to do? He said, well, if it does 20 million, then great. I said, okay, 20 million the first weekend. He laughed at me at the table. These kind of movies don't do those numbers. Went online, talked to because I had built a fan base before Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. I had my online email. Emailed them directly, told them what was going on. They went out there, man, and set that thing up well up over 20 million the first weekend. Yeah. And after that, how were you dealt with in the building? Did they say, okay, well, we clearly see this gentleman knows what he's doing? No. Did you have some? No, thought it was a fluke. And that's why I tell people, stop fighting to make people understand who you are. Right. Stop fighting. Say, I did this and I stopped giving you a damn resume. Shut your damn mouth up. I tell you why. Because you can make the best deals when you're underestimated. That's real. Don't go in there telling them how great you are and all the things you do. Just like, well, how about we do this? How about we do this? Just say you got to deal with somebody that's a big industry thing, and they don't know what to do with you. They only want to pay you a little amount of money. Gotcha. Okay, I'll do that. I'll take that little amount of money. But let me ask you this: if I get this many people to show up, right, and you give me this more money, this more of an amount, right, which is so important that we learn how to. That's called a back end bonus, isn't it? No, but not even that. I'm talking about real back end, because a lot of times they play equity. Yeah. Equity percentages in perpetuity. Exactly right. Okay. So just having us understand that we're at a disadvantage because we're black and this is not our town. Right. We've got to come in and understand how they play the game. Sure. And realize that we can get in and get to what we want to get to by not selling out, not doing anything crazy, but by understanding how they play the game. It's fascinating to me. I'm from New Orleans, man. Just, third quarter New Orleans. When I got here and I saw how they white folks operate, I was like, wow. It's crazy, huh? Man, it's crazy. And coming from where we come from, we're like, nah, get your head, but you just want to be over with it, right? Yeah. Like, that's the thing, get that, but no, just step back and pay attention. Yeah. Someone outside of the culture trying to tell someone within the culture what's authentic to the culture is one of the most ostracizing things I've witnessed. Yep.
Attorneys Victor Rebel and Megan Garcia were leaving the courthouse with their client, Lloyd Edwards, after appearing in court in reference to a protection order initiated by Mr. Edwards' wife, Jasmine.
pat you down, make sure you don't have any other weapons.
Mr. Edwards was appearing in court about a protection order issued by his wife. Mrs. Edwards alleged that Mr. Edwards had harmed her and
If you're not down there, reach out the ball, right? That still counts.
What?
Dude, didn't the Chiefs do it?
What?
Dude, isn't that what quarterbacks always do? Because he said quarterbacks don't do that.
Do what?
Reach their hand out.
If you're not down,
For
try to
a
get more
touchdown.
yards. You try to get not more yards.
Everybody do that. What do you mean?
That's what Kaden. Now, Kaden
Oh my
said
God, y'all too loud. Go way back in the
Kaden said you
room.
only could do that with touchdowns. That's
No,
what
they do
Kaden
that
said.
for first downs for everything.
Interactions with him were consensual and that he intended to submit the phones as evidence for the defense. Mr. Edwards later stated that Mr. Revel told him that, quote, there may come a day when reports had confirmed. And Mrs. Edwards' testimony led to a protection order issued by his wife. Mrs. Edwards alleged that Mr. Edwards had abused her and their daughter, and testified that Mr. Edwards' cell phones contained proof of her claims. Mrs. Edwards' testimony led the prosecution to pursue a search warrant for Mr. Edwards' person and vehicle, specifically targeting his 3 cell phones. I called the Revel law firm, and Mr. Revel stated that there was no evidence of abuse on the phones, and that the phones actually contained evidence that supported Mr. Edwards' innocence. Mr. Revel claims that Mrs. Edwards had exchanged explicit messages with Mr. Edwards, which indicated that her interactions with him were consensual and that he intended to submit the phones as evidence for the defense. Mr. Edwards later stated that Mr. Revel told him that, quote, there may come a day when the prosecution wants your phone. And one of the attorneys asked him for the 2 phones just before exiting the courtroom. The phones were then placed into Mrs. Garcia's briefcase prior to exiting the building.
The warrants that you all have for his person and for his vehicle.
That's correct.
So he is given the phone that's on his person. Okay, I have video of him handing the phone to you. You handing the phone to her. Is that factual right now? Yeah. You all do have that, but that is not on. You all no, I'm not here before I have the Brian. That was not on his person. So you all not entitled to that.
Happy birthday. Here's your free drink. Shay, you're more borders, right?
Like, why the noise?
So not on his person. So you all not entitled to that. Okay. Well, I think we'll go the other route and get that as well.
As Mr. Revel mentioned, the language of the search warrant dictates that the search may be performed on Mr. Edwards' immediate person and vehicle only. Since Mr. Edwards was not in possession of the phones at the time of the warrant being served, the deputies are not entitled to them. If the deputies had acquired a search warrant for the phones themselves, then they may have had some authority to seize them. But the validity of such a search warrant would be questionable, considering that the defense also intends to submit the phones as evidence. The search warrant presented by the officers does not authorize them to search Mrs. Garcia. After realizing that Mr. Revel is refusing to comply with the search, Deputy Ashworth calls the district attorney's office for advice on how to proceed.
We have it on video that he handed his cell phone to his attorney, one, and then handed it to another, and it's in the satchel that is right here.
Well, are we being detained? At this moment in time,
They're not denying it, we have it on video.
detain you until we determine the next course of action. Give me
Well,
just a minute.
what I have is person and vehicle. Okay, we either need the phone out of the satchel, or we will have to detain you and give search warrant to give the phone.
So you're gonna well, okay. Well, we're not going to give you anything that's on our person that you don't have a right to. So if you detain us, you have to have certain constitutional safeguards to do that. If you're going to detain us, we're going to detain us. We're not going to run. So, you all tell us we are being detained. Is that right? Officer Rat? Time right now. You are being detained.
Okay, you both are under arrest for obstructing government operations.
Obstructing government operations.
That's correct.
Definitely not lawful, right? We're under arrest.
Mr. Revel is more than correct that this arrest is unlawful. Not only are the deputies charging Mr. Revel under the authority of an irrelevant search warrant, but neither Mr. Revel or Mrs. Garcia did anything that would constitute a violation of Alabama Code 13A-10-2. The code states that a person commits the crime of obstructing governmental operations if by means of intimidation, physical force, or interference intentionally obstructs the administration of law or prevents a public servant from performing a governmental function. Neither Mr. Revel nor Mrs. Garcia conducted themselves in a manner that was intimidating, physically forceful, or interfering. They both simply stated that they would not comply with the deputies' unlawful orders. They did nothing to prevent the deputies from seizing the phone. If the deputies were so sure that the search warrant authorized them to seize the phones, then what was stopping them from taking Mrs. Garcia's bag and getting them? Certainly not Mr. Revel or Mrs. Garcia.
You don't have no evidence. Of course not. Okay. Make sure.
We have it on video.
We have not broken the law. So if you're arresting us, I'm arresting you. I'm being arrested for obstructing government operation.
That's correct.
Y'all want to arrest these lawyers? For this charge, you sure you like it? I am. Okay. And this is, and what's the place where you? Sue Ashford. And you're arresting us on her orders?
Wireless on the most reliable network nationwide. I could use that. That saves up to $400 a year. Xfinity Mobile with internet. It's so good, they keep one-upping itself.
From the moment he's entered the courthouse, he's been under surveillance. Okay? For the reasons of this search warrant. All right? I'm sitting here and watch you and him and her. You looked up. Matter of fact, you did look up at the camera 2 or 3 times. He pulled the phone out and handed it to you. You handed it back to him. He was fooling with, I'm guessing, a password. And after a short period of time, he handed it back to you. You handed it to her. She put it in here. Okay? That is evidence for this search warrant. And you agree with me that you all served this search warrant subsequent to that, after that, all right? Yes. After we left out the jail. Yes.
The deputies failed to understand the authoritative limitations of the search warrant, and Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia were arrested and charged under Code 13A-10-2. The prosecution initially offered to drop the charges if Mr. Revel agreed to write a letter apologizing and admitting that the deputies did nothing wrong. But Mr. Revel rejected their offer and decided to proceed with a trial. In the ensuing criminal trial, Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia's defense argued that the state failed to establish the defendant's intent and that no crime was committed because the search warrant did not authorize the search of Mr. Edwards' attorneys. The prosecution argued that they were entitled to the phones under the exigent circumstances doctrine, which is a legal precedent that allows for warrantless searches in circumstances where evidence has a high likelihood of being destroyed, such as cell phone data. During the trial, Mr. Edwards, who was still under investigation at the time, testified for the prosecution, but stated that District Attorney Casey tried to prep him in his testimony, even though she had reportedly recused herself from the case, and Mr. Edwards became a key witness for Mr. Revel's defense. Ultimately, Judge King acquitted Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia of all charges and stated that the deputies were wrong about the authority of the search warrant and that the defendants never physically prevented the deputies from carrying out their duties. Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia were forced to recuse themselves from Mr. Edwards' case after filing 2 separate federal lawsuits against Deputy Ratliff and Deputy Ashworth, as well as District Attorney Casey and the Assistant District Attorney, Scott Gilliland. It is worth noting that Mr. Edwards has yet to go to 2 separate federal lawsuits against Deputy Ratliff and Deputy Ashworth, as well as District Attorney Casey and the Assistant District Attorney, Scott Gilliland. It is worth noting that Mr. Edwards has yet to go to trial. Nonetheless, Mr. Revel is optimistic about the case and told me that he expects to reach a settlement agreement with certain undisclosed stipulations. Overall, the deputies and district attorneys of the Blount County Sheriff's Office get an F for exaggerating the authority of a search warrant, violating Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia's Fourth Amendment rights, and falsely arresting them for obstruction obstruction. The phones were eventually searched by the prosecution, but they did not contain any usable evidence. And even if they had, the prosecution would not have been able to submit them as evidence in the trial against Mr. Edwards because the phones were illegally obtained. Mr. Revel gets an A+ for having the mental agility and conversational fortitude to dispute the validity of the search warrant and the courage and conviction to defend his personal liberty and stand by his defendant's rights. Mr. Revel immediately knew that the arrest was unlawful and offered the deputies multiple opportunities to reconsider.
Second and goal. Play action. Jackson, clean pocket, floating it back to the end zone. Open as Marquise Brown. It's a touchdown. And
The queue is filled with so much detail, they responsibly new every time. But have you ever noticed these soldiers pop up on the catwalks? There's a few of them in multiple places, and they're actually some of the authentic vintage and rock puppets used in the digital game. In San Diego's patriotic Grand Canal of the film, there's this army of soldiers. Made out of foam called birthday, the soldiers were centered in the queue where the one seen in the back of the shot. The arms and legs of multiple puppets were connected by a rod on the rock, and a puppeteer at the top of the rod allowing the rock to beat and sing. You can consider them between animatronics, which is pretty much the function of the puppet puppets. After filming, imagineers took the puppets, presented them as props, and hid them right in the queue alongside all the other puppets.
Number 5. Head back over to Epcot. It's time for the world of imagination in 3D World. Journey into imagination with Figment stars, well, Figment, and he appears 3 times on the ride as an audio animatronic. Now, it is hard to bear. This is the third incarnation of the imagination, and there's been some talk that when Disney added Figment back into the ride in 2002, they recycled some of the original Figment animatronics. Well, after further investigation, it looks like Disney did not recycle any of the physical animatronics, but they did recycle the molds to create new figures. Many of the original animatronics from Journey into Imagination were auctioned off, like Space Figment, but a duplicate Space Figment was created for the third ride. Many animatronics were also stored by Disney, and some were even recycled as display pieces in the parks, like this animatronic that used to be in One Man's Dream at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Number 4.
Starting to the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disney California Adventure takes you into the Collector's Fortress. Every room in the cubicle is filled with a variety of artifacts, including many props, instruments, and electronics. When you enter the room to access the gantry lift, straight ahead on this shelf is Spy and Penny, which is actually an animatronic that came from the classic Disney attraction. After spending a few years in the Disney archives, Imagineers dug out one of the 3 known animatronics, along with other Disney treasures, to build the Collector's Fortress. Since the attraction opened in May 2017, many people have noticed Harold because of his size, but there's another animatronic right beside him that many people seem to miss.
Number 3. Second in Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, if you look to the right of Harold, you'll find this octopus with a big bow. And this is also an old animatronic from the Escape to Disneyland attraction. The country bear Jamboree used to be one of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh is today. The attraction opened in March of 1972, and in February of 1986, the original show was replaced with the country bear with Jason Hogan. The show featured a new script and songs, but still had all your favorite bear characters now wearing new summer outfits. In Vacation Lowdown, Terrence appears with Dolores, his octopus girlfriend, and she was actually a new animatronic figure added to the original cast. Well, in September of 2001, Disney evicted the country bears, and we had to say goodbye to all these audio animatronics. Well, after being stored
2. From the Polynesian Resort at Walt Disney World, you can find Trader Sam's Godfather, this quaint little tiki bar. If you look at the back wall, you'll find the tiki goddess Apollo watching over everyone. Usually she sits in darkness, but when everyone chants her name, she's awoken from her slumber. Although everyone is not a static figure, she's actually a mighty animatronic from a sort of extinct attraction at Magic Kingdom. From April of 1998 until June of 2011, the Enchanted Tiki Room used to be the Enchanted Tiki Room under immediate management. The shelters for all classic tiki birds beyond the Diablo, Zazu, and Alba was a key best animatronic. The Graceful Fire Enchanted Tiki Room, the attraction had to close, and then they would it back to the original show, and it was removed in Sacramento, California. It wasn't until late 2014 when Raoul was discovered by former Imagineer Trader Brandon. She was a pilot animatronics that were used for training Imagineers, but Brandon was able to take her to Florida and incorporate her into Trader Sam's. She wasn't animated in the bar because of function issues, but this recycled animatronic lets us remember one of, if not the only good thing, from the Enchanted Tiki Room under immediate management.
Number 1. At Magic Kingdom, Sunny eclipsed the singing lounge blizzard to be found in that cosmic ray Starlight Cafe in Tomorrowland. The audio animatronic was added to the restaurant in 1994, but did you know that he actually began his journey over in Tokyo Disneyland? Tokyo's version of Star Tours opened in 1989, and baggage officer 6 used to be found at the attraction's exit. Pretty familiar, right? Well, that's because Imagineers recycled his animatronic walls and duplicated the figure in 1994 when they were redesigning Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. You can see both of their movements are identical, and by changing the look of your skin color, getting rid of the glasses, adding some hair, and giving him a different outfit, they created the brand new character of Sunny Eclipse. Once both of the characters were coexisting, Disney actually referred to them as cousins. Sunny was from New York City, and Officer 6 was from New Jersey. Just want to say a big thank you to Disney Dan for coming back to the channel to co-host Part 3.
Thanks for having me, TPM. It's always great to talk about these recycled treasures found all over the park. The audience is the best. You guys rock. Thanks for all the kind comments. I love all of you.
If you aren't familiar with Disney Dan, be sure to check out his channel and subscribe. He does some really awesome videos of the evolution of Disney characters in the theme parks. You can find Dan's channel on the card on the right-hand side or in the description below. So, what's your favorite recycled animatronic from the Disney theme parks? Were you surprised with any of these animatronics listed here being recycled and reused? I would
What are you
leave a
thinking?
comment down below to start a conversation. And don't forget to hit that
Please
like
don't
button
touch
if you enjoyed the video. If you have any videos from the Disney parks that you'd like to share with us to be used in future videos, follow the link in the description below.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to TPM Voices Disney, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us as TPM Videos. Since the very beginning, Disney has always looked for ways to stay relevant with modern audiences. As the canon of Disney films keep on growing, a lot of the beloved characters from these stories are incorporated into the theme parks, sometimes as brand new additions or by overlaying an old favorite. Over the decades, incorporating Disney IPs into old rides have been a huge hits, and some have been considered massive failures. So let's dive into the defunct history of some Disney classics at Disneyland and Walt Disney World as we count down the top 5 and Disney rides and attractions. Number 5. Back in 1959, Disneyland debuted its submarine voyage as part of an extensive expansion of Tomorrowland. The submarine voyage was a one-time attraction, and everyone who visited Disneyland wanted to experience it. I took you down to the ocean floor as you got the chance to see aquatic animatronic creatures, Disneyland began to neglect the ride in terms of maintenance. The lagoon had major cracks, and it started to cost a lot to operate. The attraction's popularity was dwindling, and this was during the unfortunate cost.
Yeah, it's just got it paused. Yeah.
Did I call you today?
No, why are you so loud? I'm right here. You can talk like this. You yell when you talk.
Did I call you today?
No. What happened?
Oh, Hannah said I had straight in my eyes. Had to go there.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It wasn't the smash hit Disney was hoping for. Imagineers scrapped the idea and went back to the drawing board. It wasn't until 2003 when a little film called Finding Nemo opened to staggering box office numbers. Tony Baxter knew this was it. Finding Nemo would be the saving grace of the submarine voyage. In 2005, Disney officially announced it would be called the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, and they went right to work on the transformation. This included replacing all the rocks in Coral and Melkor Lagoon, as well as removing the diesel engines from the subs and replacing them with electric ones. Imagineers would reuse as much as possible in the interior of the dark ride portion, but also constructed brand new scenic elements. This allowed Imagineers to use projection technology to place the animated Finding Nemo characters in the water. This IP translated perfectly into the submarine voyage, and when the attraction officially opened on June 11th, 2007, it was a hit. Finding Nemo gave Imagineers a chance to bring Walt's precious subs back to life in a way to stay relevant with modern audiences. Number 4. The Enchanted Tiki Room opened at Disneyland in 1963, and it marked the debut of audio animatronics in the theme park. Audiences at the time had never seen anything like this, and they adored this Polynesian musical adventure. Well, when it came time to build Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, some of the most popular attractions from California were built in Florida, and this included the Tiki Room. Disney decided to call the Magic Kingdom attraction the Tropical Serenade, and although the name was different, it was pretty much a carbon copy of the Enchanted Tiki Room at Disneyland. I mean, why was
62 degrees outside.
right? Well, now let's fast forward to 1997. Disney animation in the 90s was met with what we now know as the Disney Renaissance era. And with that, many of the popular 90s IPs were incorporated into the theme parks. With this same theme in mind, Disney decided to close the Tropical Serenade in September of 1997 to transform it into the Disneyland Tiki Room theme park. The transformation took 7 months, and when the attraction reopened in April of 1998, it now starred Zazu and Iago in addition to the original birds. This change was done in an effort to make the attraction more relevant with 90s audiences. And since The Lion King and Aladdin were such big hits, incorporating these IPs into the Tiki Room would mean a guaranteed success, right? Well, not exactly. Many guests were not too happy with this strange adaptation of this Disney classic. Some say it's ruined the attraction. The Tiki Room lost the timeless charm and tranquility, and it was traded in for 10 minutes of mayhem featuring Iago Swagger. It featured odd covers of pop songs, as well as a parody of Fred Like Me from Aladdin. It was just a very disjointed effort of merging the old with the new. Now, the story and execution may have been a mess, but the highlights were definitely the new animatronics. Since the first Tiki Room, a lot of people were broken by Iago insulting the Tiki gods. But impressive animatronics can only take an attraction so far. Well, on January 12, 2011, Iago was stalking like he normally does when a fire broke out at the Tiki Room around 5:30 p.m. It was a small fire that said to have started in the attic of the attraction. It stopped right at over 2 Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Iago and Zazu got the move as Disney restored the attraction back to its original glory, with some slight modifications made to adjust for time. If it wasn't for that little fire in 2011, maybe we'd still have the Tiki Room under new management today.
You want me to focus on another guy?
Thankfully, this classic Disney attraction was saved and continues to spread in the series.
Oh, come on, let me down. There was no another guy.
Number 3. Disney's Animal Kingdom opened in April of 1998. Dinosaur wasn't opening day attraction, but it was originally called Countdown to Extinction, with dark rides being Countdown to Extinction was the only dark ride at the park on opening day, but it wasn't really marketed as a family-friendly experience. It was a pretty intense and terrifying adventure. Not the family-friendly tone you'd expect for a Disney dark ride, but there's several reasons for that. See, when Animal Kingdom was being built, it was severely over budgeted, so former CEO Michael Eisner needed Imagineers to cut costs. One of the ways to cut down costs was to use an existing ride system. This turned out to be the Enhanced Ocean Ride Vehicle system from Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland, but they also reused the track layout. That's right, both rides share the exact same track layout. While the ride was in development, the film Dinosaur was already in production. So when designing characters for the ride, Disney knew this was the perfect opportunity to incorporate the dinosaur species from the film. They even incorporated Alligator the iguanon into the now defunct Discovery Riverboat attraction. As the film made its way further into production, the pre-show originally showed this referring to the iguanon, but that was replaced shortly after opening with an animated clip with Alligator from the film. The ride continued to terrify guests as Countdown to Extinction until May 1st, 2000, when Disney changed the name of the attraction to Dinosaur. The name change happened 2 weeks before the film premiered, and it was the synergy Michael Eisner and Imagineers envisioned. Gone was the Tyrannosaurus, now replaced by Alligator the iguanon. But when it came down to the physical ride, there weren't too many changes. Dinosaur was a family film, so Disney figured more children would want to ride Dinosaur. Imagineers slowed down the motion of the ride vehicle and changed audio and lighting effects in an effort to make it less terrifying, but the story remained the same. You set off to rescue the iguanodon, only to be chased by the Carnotaurus. Even though the ride today is a toned-down version of the original, it's still pretty terrifying, especially for the little ones. If you look at the ride vehicles today, you'll see they say CTX Rover, and the 6X is a leftover relic that refers to Countdown to Extinction. A lot of people
get off the
All right, bro, you back? Sure, if that's what you want.
Got how to play you now. Ah, you good, homie.
The Charger drive about to get going. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. Out of the gun, Herbert. In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line. Chris Jones. Credit him with a sack as he buries him for a loss of 10. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And it's going to be incomplete. He was able to catch it there on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. And it's going to bring up 4th down. On is the Chargers punter now, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. A big kick that time, 52 yards. And it's Chiefs football, 1st and 10. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field
These
goals
wide receivers can't
resort, right?
blocking, boy.
That's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. 2nd and 9 from the 44. And here's a handoff out of the gun. And he'll only get a yard, maybe 2, up to the 46.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Throwing is Mahomes on 3rd. Eluding the pressure right. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a 1st down.
Now that's all about making something happen as a quarterback, because instead of forcing something on 3rd down, how about him buying some time outside of the pocket, waiting for someone to come open? And when he did, he put it on him for a big play and a 1st down.
So from Charger territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. And now here's a carry heading left. And down inside the 15 he goes. 97 yards rushing for him now as his fine rookie season continues.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
I couldn't see him. I did not see dude, man. Fuck. Good shit. Good play. I did not see dude.
Offensively, when you see cover 2, the thought has to go through the quarterback's head. Drive the football when making throws. It's not just the deep guys covering. It's the guys underneath you have to be careful of. Drive your throw. Otherwise, you see what results? Interceptions.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
They did a really nice job there defensively. They strung the play out, didn't give him a cutback lane. On each play, you have guys what I call our BCR players. Guys are responsible for the bootleg, for the cutback, and for the reverse. They played that one perfectly.
And loading right out of bounds. Now a throw here to his running back. And he'll be taken down, but they've got this one up to the 35-yard line.
That turns into a very well-orchestrated play right there. Going to work his way out of the backfield to the right, and after he looked it in, he found plenty of space to roam and picked up big yardage.
That's great save, boy. That should have been my pick.
Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the 3rd quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
And that'll fall incomplete. He was hit just as he let that go. And now it's 3rd down.
Well, listen, when you've got the lead, there's absolutely no sense trying to fit a ball in where you shouldn't. You can see the coaching in his head taking place on that play because he saw he had a receiver in the area. He just put it well over his head out of harm's way.
He sets to fire deep.
Oh, my God.
Inside the 35. And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. A big gain that time for the Chargers. They'll try the right side with Eckler.
Yo, my dude's so slow, dog.
On what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now Eckler. This will be a 5-yard pickup as they move it from the 20 to the 15. Good gain there on first down. It keeps them in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. It'll be a loss of only a couple on the sack, but now it'll bring up 3rd down. The Chargers on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. Back to throw here, Herbert. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And they'll hustle up to stop him well shy of the 1st, right around the 15. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down.
Matthew Wright for the field goal. A 32-yard attempt.
And his kick is good. And high fives for that one as that drive ends in 3. Well, he was a spectator for much of this game. This is his first field goal opportunity of the entire contest, but he's able to connect.
Yeah, he had a pretty good seat to this one, didn't he? But let's face it, all kickers that you and I know, they want to contribute. They want their opportunity, and he seized his.
Yeah.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And that last turnover could have proven more costly, but their defense only gave up 3. But now answering with a field goal doesn't do them much on this drive. They need to try and find the end zone. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be 2nd and a couple.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33. From the gun, they'll try to run it. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the line.
That's not what I meant.
2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
Well, that's not an easy play for a defense.
Damn, that's not what I meant to do. Man, I'm fucking up, man.
His vision to see where the play was going, crashed down inside and tackled him for a loss.
The Chiefs on 3rd down. They've hit on 6 of their 8 tries. Very good. This is 3rd and 4. He finds his man Johnson. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Back to throw. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
So from Charger territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 41. Now a handoff as they run left side. He's got the first down here inside the 30. And finally taken down at the 15.
122 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch victory.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
Now a handoff looking right. And able to surge forward for about 5 yards down to the 10. 4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes. And we've got a one-score game.
At the 10-yard line.
So the Chiefs in possession of the ball as we welcome you back. They come up on a 2nd down now in a game that looks like it's going to go down the wire. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
What a luxury to have a guy like this who can not only spell your starter, but can come in and keep drives going.
This will be the 8th play of the drive here. 3rd and 4. Mahomes. To the flat, that's complete to his running back. And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11. And they call it a loss of a yard there. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Mahomes and the offense staying out there. They'll go for it on 4th. Now Mahomes got to have this one. He'll buy some time right. And it'll be intercepted. Derwin James with a pick.
And the Chargers have just about sewn up this football game. Just when you thought this game might be turned on its ear, a late interception pretty much going to seal the deal.
Yeah, boy, talk about having your backs to the wall. This defense, they look like they were in danger of surrendering this lead, but they knew they needed that one play. And they got it right there, partner.
They started on the ground with Eckler. And he roams across the 20 to the 24-yard line. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
7 brings up 2nd and 3 at the 24-yard line.
It's Eckler again. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. I see an extra defensive back on the field. Little surprise here on 3rd and 1. They'll try to pick up the first with Eckler. And that one going nowhere from the start as he's met in the backfield and goes backwards. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. On is the Chargers punter now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. This is fielded at the 27, and he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. A 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. One possession game. Time very much a factor. How does the offense handle this situation?
Well, in a lot of cases, they should be somewhat relaxed. And I know that's counterintuitive because this is a pressure situation. But this is Friday practice every week of the season.
And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off with great anticipation. And the Chargers have just about sewn up this football game. When you talk about making winning plays, that is a winning play at this stage of the game. To come up with that interception, huge.
I like how you identified that because most people think winning plays are the offense trying to get it done. In this case, nursing a lead, they found a way to make a play on that side of the ball and maybe finish things off.
Victory formation time for the Chargers. They take a knee. So this one's over.